Welcome to Mass Transit, the 20-minute cooperative transportation card game for 1 to 6 players. In this game, all players will work together to build roads, canals, and rails, then run the buses, ferries, and trains to move 6 weary commuters from the big city to their homes in the suburbs. Avoid City Hall bureaucracy and get all 6 commuters home to prove that you are a master of mass transit. To begin the game, set the big city board in the center of the table, leaving room for 6 lines of cards to extend outward. Place 1 meeple on each of the 6 starting locations. Shuffle the mass transit deck and deal 4 cards to each player. If any player's starting hand has 3 or more suburbs cards, they should set their whole hand aside and draw 4 new cards. Then, shuffle the original hand back into the draw pile. Place the remaining cards as a face-down draw pile in the center of the big city board. After everyone has looked at their cards, anyone may volunteer to go first. While playing mass transit, communication is limited. You can't tell others what cards are in your hand or exactly where you'll play, but you are allowed to drop creative hints, so you couldn't say, "I have a bus line to play," but you might say, "I sure would like to hit the road next turn." On your next turn, you must play at least 2 cards from your hand, but you can play 3 or even 4 if you'd like. Each time you play a card, you either add it to the map, this starts or continues a route, or discard it to move a commuter closer to home. When you play a card, add it to the map. Choose one of the 6 routes leading out from the city, and then place it so that the bus, ferry, and rail lines all line up. When you add a card to the map, ignore the color icon at the top of the card. All that matters is those extending lines. When you discard a card, though, you'll only be paying attention to the color and the icon. If it's a walk icon, you can move any one commuter exactly 1 card ahead. This is the only way to move a commuter from the big city to the first card in a route. Keep in mind that you can't walk a commuter stopped by traffic. We'll talk about traffic in just a moment. The bus, ferry, and train icons let you move a commuter from one station matching the icon to the next station of its type. For example, you could discard this card with the train icon to move this commuter from its train station onto the next train station, passing over all cards in between. But watch out for dead ends. If you move a commuter to one of these, then you'll have to walk forward to another card with a station. If the card has more than 1 type of station, you may depart from either one when you leave the card. Now, traffic jams can slow you down. If a commuter hits one of these icons while riding a bus, ferry, or train, then they must stop and can only be moved forward when a player discards another card featuring that transportation type. You can never walk from a traffic stop if you reached it by vehicle. That said, a commuter can walk to a traffic stop and then walk on. This null icon means that the card cannot be discarded to move a commuter. When played, it can only be added to the map to extend a route. Once you have played 2, 3, or 4 cards, draw back up to 4 cards in hand. Then your turn ends and the next player takes their turn going in clockwise order. Keep in mind that once the draw pile runs out, players won't have more cards to draw, so they'll have to win the game with only the cards that are left in their hands. The goal of the game is to get all 6 commuters to their families in the suburbs. There are 6 commuter cards in the deck, 2 for each type of transportation. Each suburb card will show a distance icon, either 3 or 4. This is the minimum number of cards that can be placed between the big city and that suburb card. For example, you would need at least 4 cards in between this suburb and this big city, but it would also be fine to have more. Sometimes things in government need to happen like yesterday. If you start your turn with cards in your hand that have the urgent icon, you must play them that turn. You can't hold them for later. They do not have to be the very first card you play, but you can't end your turn with them. The only exception is if you have an urgent card in your hand when you get the 6th commuter home. It won't matter because you immediately win the game. So, how do you lose mass transit? Well, if any player cannot legally play at least 2 of their cards on their turn, then the game is over and the team loses. But if you manage to get all 6 of those commuters home, the team wins immediately. And now you know how to play mass transit. Designed by Chris Leader and Kevin Rogers, and published by Calliope Games. Thanks so much for watching. Be bold, Play games. Be you. Happy gaming.